Hi everyone, my name is Somu. I am from Fasal. In this video, I'll be discussing on pesticide drift. So there are two words, pesticide drift. So what do you mean by pesticides? Pesticides means fungicide, herbicide, bactericides, insecticides, rodenticides, all collectively known as pesticides. Drift means be carried slowly by a current of air or water. So then what do you mean by pesticide drift or pesticide spray drift? So pesticide drift is a airborne movement of pesticide from an area of application to an unintended site. Drift can happen during pesticide application when a droplet or dust travel away from the target site. It can also happen after application when some chemicals become vapor that can move offsite. So pesticide drift can cause accidental exposure to a people, animal, and plants. So you can see two types of pesticide drift. One is a vapor drift, and another one is particle drift. So particle drift means a movement of spray droplets during application. Vapor drift means this can happen after an application, even when the pesticide was applied as a solid or a liquid. So next comes pesticide vapor pressure. What do you mean by pesticide vapor pressure? So vapor pressure is in a pesticide tendency to evaporate. So in other words, to change from a solid or liquid into a vapor. In general, pesticides with a low vapor pressure are less likely to turn into a vapor and get into the air. Those with a high vapor pressure are more likely to get into the air. So why is a pesticide vapor pressure is important means, so pesticide vapor pressure help us to predict where the pesticide will go after it applied. So how long pesticide might stay in water, on plants, and in soil. So how much of pesticides will get into air. So whether people or animal are at a risk of breathing in the pesticides. So pesticides that quickly and easily turn into vapor can increase the risk. So we can see there are two types of pesticides. Means the pesticide which have less likely to volatilize and the pesticide which have more likely to volatilize. So less likely to volatilize pesticides have low vapor pressure, dissolve well in water, stick tightly to the soil. Whereas more likely to volatilize pesticides have high vapor pressure. It will not dissolve properly in water, sticks loosely to the soil. So next comes what happens to a pesticide once it become a vapor. So in the air, pesticides can break down, be breathed in, and move away from the treated area into a new area. So when pesticides move off target as a vapor, that is known as vapor drift. Pesticide vapors can be broken apart by a light, water, microbes. They can also stick to a dust particles in the air and can be carried away by the air currents. So later, this wind or rain may deposit those airborne pesticide onto a soil, so plants or animals in other areas. So becoming a vapor is not the only way the pesticide can move away from the place it has applied. But dust particles or a spray droplet, it can also move through the air during or shortly after pesticide use. So what happens when this pesticide move away from a targeted site, so, and move away from the target site and where it deposit on other part non-target areas, thereby we can see the health and environmental risk. Yes, pesticide drift can pose health risk when sprays and dust are carried by the wind and and deposited on other areas. So, like example, if the farm is nearby any schools or any house nearby the farm, so when the spray is taken place, this spray drift can cause effect on those children's. Spray drift also causes health effect on the farmers, or if, farmers who are working nearby the adjacent fields, means farm workers in the adjacent fields. So it will also affect on wildlife, plants, and streams and other water bodies. So where this drift, wind drift or runoff pesticides can join the nearby water bodies, where they can contaminate the water. So by this spray or pesticide drift, there is an economic effect on this. There is an economic effect also. So pesticide drift can cause economic loss. Like so, drift of herbicides can injure some crops. So crop buying near farms can be affected by these spray pesticides. Like when there is when a farmer adjacent to the field, if they apply herbicide, so that herbicide drift may come that herbicide drift may cause effect on the adjacent farmer plot. So it may affect on some commercial crops where he can lose his yield. So what are the precautions to be taken for pesticide? So actions for consumer to reduce the spray drift and runoff from pesticide product application. So when applying a pesticide, one should take care. So it should be treated only to an area directly. So care should be taken where pesticide should not enter the drains, drainages, ditches, gutter, or surface water during a pesticide application. So rinsing application equipments means washing off these agricultural spray equipments like hand spray, back sprays. So it should be washed so that water should not enter into a nearby drainages or water bodies. So another foremost important point is that applying pesticides during a calm weather condition when rain is not predicted for next 24 hours ensure will help to ensure that wind or rain does not blow or wash pesticides of the treatment area. So this helps to reduce the pesticide drift. So how we can predict this rainfall or wind speed? So it's very difficult for farmers to know. So when it will rain within a 24 hours or 48 hours. So this will help farmers to reduce the spray or can avoid the spray drift. So here Fasal come with its solution. So it will predict the rainfall, weather data like relative humidity, temperature. It will also check the wind speed. So all these parameters will be checked. Based on this, Fasal will advise when to spray, how much to spray, means how to spray. It will be suggested from the Fasal. So Fasal, to solve this issue, here comes a concept called as delta T. Delta T means measure of delta T means it's a measure of evaporation rate and lifetime of a droplet. It's a spray droplet. It is calculated by a dry bulb temperature minus wet bulb temperature. A delta T, so a delta T value between 2 to 8 is ideal for spray. So when delta T value is more than 10, the spray recommendation is not suggested. So delta T is the primary method by which we can decide when and how to apply pesticides to improve the efficacy and to reduce the spray drift. The higher the delta T value, if the delta T value is more than 10, so you can say higher the delta value, so atmosphere will be a dry. So when you spray the pesticides, there is a chance of pesticide to get evaporated. Like say when the value is too high, the spray droplet will dry up before pesticide get a chance uh, to move into a plant. So it will so resulting in reduce the pesticide efficacy or delay the pesticide uptake. If the value is very low, then the droplet will survive for a longer period and will slow down the speed of pesticide uptake. So this leads to an increased potential for drift or a wash off if the rainfall occurs. So just like other weather variables, so delta T will change throughout the day. So generally in the morning we can see low delta value. So as the day temperature increases, so you can see the low delta T values. So by the end of the day, you can see the fall in the delta T values. As the evening or night sets, it numbers will go low. So delta T is an excellent way to understand the impact of temperature and humidity on spray drop. So here like wind, temperature or humidity play an important role on spray droplets. So like a wind, so wind ideal wind speed is for spray is between 3 to 15 kilometers per hour. So temperature means temperature, ideal spray for temperature is about 28 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature is high, there will be an so if the temperatures are high, if you say high, the atmosphere will be dry. So if you spray the pesticides, there will be a chance of evaporating. If there is a too low temperature, if you spray during that time, I mean there is a chances of survival of this pesticide droplets for longer time. So that can be carried by a wind or it can be washed off or run off by rain. So it's a very important to know so ideal temperature for the spray. And next comes the humidity. Humidity has a great effect on evaporation rate. So you can see high the humidity above 45 is an ideal for spray. So if humidity is high, so there is a chances of survival of these spray droplets. When there is a low humidity, so there is a chances of evaporation of these spray droplets. So hence you should keep in when a farmer go for any pesticide spray, one should keep remember. So the pesticides application is very important by considering all these weather variables. So like wind, temperature, relative humidity, rainfall. By all keeping this in consideration, if you go for a spray, so the spray efficacy will be more, and you can reduce the number of spray also. So for example, if you spray today in 24 hours, if the rain occurs, means there will be a runoff or wash out all these pesticides. Then there will be no use. So again, you want to take the spray. So again, you want to take the spray. So by this keeping all this in point, so Fasal came with a best concept where it predict the pest disease, and it will also guide when to spray and what quantity to be sprayed. So like what quantity to be sprayed. So thereby you can cut down the number of sprays. So hope this video will help. This is on pesticide drift. Thank you. Namaskar.